Now at 5, 2 Anne Arundel County officers shot and a person of interest now in custody.
We have team coverage, the death investigation in Glen Burnie that led police to a pursuit right in Baltimore City.
I'm Mike Halgren at Anne Arundel County Police Headquarters. What we're learning about the suspect now in custody.
A wet and soggy Thursdays are only going to get worse in some areas. I'm Bob Turk. We'll show you when the heaviest rain is going to fall and the threat of flooding.
Dozens of officials searched all night long looking for a missing 2-year-old boy in Howard County. Tonight, he's safe. We're going to tell you who finally found him right near I-95.
WJZ News at 5 starts right now.
Live from Television Hill, this is WJZ Breaking News.
Major delays being reported at Baltimore's Penn Station because of a suspicious package. Hello, everyone. I'm Nicole Baker.
And I'm Rick Ritter, and WJZ is live tonight. Annie Rose Ramos at Penn Station. Annie Rose, what do we know so far?
Well, Rick and Nicole, this is still a developing situation, but let me give you an idea about what's going on right now inside Penn Station. Police have evacuated people to the right and back part of the station, pushing everyone to the front left-hand side of the station. We don't know exactly why. We spoke to some eyewitnesses inside, 2 of whom were actually on a train just past 3:30 when police came on the intercom. They evacuated everybody. They said, please quickly get off of your trains. People moved into the train station. Now police are saying that are investigating a suspicious package, which now means that all trains coming into Penn Station and leaving Penn Station are now at a complete stop. Every single train right now is on a delay, and now people are trying to figure out whether to wait it out or find alternate means of transportation. I spoke to one eyewitness who said that they did see someone get arrested, but as of right now, we don't know what exactly is going on, but people are waiting. They've been waiting for about an hour. 30 minutes ago, Rick and Nicole, I did see some police going into that final track with a few dogs, but again, as at this point, police say they're investigating a suspicious package. All trains going into and out of Penn Station are delayed and out of a halt, and we will keep you updated. Reporting live, I'm Annie Rose Ramos from Penn Station for WJZ.
Annie Rose, thank you so much. We'll certainly keep an eye on that story. Also developing tonight, a person of interest in custody in the shooting of 2 Anne Arundel County police detectives.
This is the other big story we're following tonight. A SWAT team made the arrest after a manhunt that lasted almost 15 hours long. And we have team coverage tonight. Rachel Carden at Shock Trauma. Paul Gessler talking to frightened neighbors. But first, we're going to start with WJZ investigator Mike Halgren, who is at police headquarters in Millersville. Mike.
Well, Rick and Nicole, neighbors heard several loud bangs, and they saw the SWAT team breach a townhouse on Riverbank Court. Now, we had seen a lot of police activity in the hours leading up to this. It appears this ended peacefully.
You need to come in and end this lunacy before another person gets hurt. I urge you that in the strongest possible term.
Hours after this plea from the police chief, the manhunt is over. Anne Arundel County Police have a person of interest in custody in the shooting of 2 detectives. They took that man into custody just before 3 this afternoon. You can see the SWAT activity and what we believe is the barefoot suspect.
Very sad, and I hope that they make it through this, and we're praying for them and for the officers and their family.
They had another officer shot at Riverwalk Way at Hilltop Road.
It started Wednesday around 5 p.m. when police were called to investigate a homicide in Glen Burnie. Around 11, Detective Scott Ballard saw the suspect driving the homicide victim's car and tried to pull him over near this Royal Farms on Fort Smallwood Road.
The homicide suspect that they're following, they're still in hot pursuit of the vehicle.
The suspect shot Detective Ballard. Then another detective, Ian Priest, pursued the man into the Stony Run townhome community, where he shot Priest before fleeing on foot.
Somebody that shot cops, done ran through Glen Burnie, through Brooklyn, back to here. It's crazy.
Neighbors saw a massive police presence here.
Around 11 o'clock last night, we had 20, 30 cop cars flying through the neighborhood.
The man was taken into custody in the same neighborhood where he fled. Neighbors report hearing a bang as the SWAT team did their work without incident. And at this point, police have not named that person of interest or detailed any possible charges he faces, but that threat is over. Live in Millersville, Mike Halgren, WJZ.
Mike, thank you. Neighbors, of course, were asked to be on alert and stay inside today.
And our team coverage continues tonight with Paul Gessler, who was with them in the midst of these tense hours. Paul.
And many of those neighbors listened. This beach community was essentially locked down for much of the day today until about 3 o'clock, when neighbors say they heard flashbangs and a man walking out of a house here on Riverbank Court with his hands up.
Just it's a total lockdown, cop. You know, nobody's getting in or out.
Anxious hours Thursday in northeast Anne Arundel County.
Not much happens in this neighborhood as far as criminal stuff goes.
Residents here got robocalls overnight telling them of the police activity.
It scared me at 12 o'clock. I was in bed, you know.
William Rambo of Greenland Beach did not sleep much after that call.
When that call came through, I spent the night on the couch, not in bed, so I kept alert.
I'm looking at this boat coming in. That looks like the DNR.
Police searched the neighborhood for a shooting suspect they say shot 2 of their police detectives.
That's awful. I have friends that are detectives. I'm actually in the security industry. It's awful. They've got a lot of the schools up here closed.
The district closed 6 schools in the area, including Northeast High School, so fewer people were outside during the search.
Yeah, last night was terrible. Yeah, because I mean, there were probably about 20 cop cars in here.
In the beach neighborhood where police focused their search, neighbors say they heard loud bangs just before 3 o'clock.
Our view from the kitchen that he walked out the door with his hands up, and they had him.
A person of interest in custody, and relief for neighbors sets in.
When they throw him in jail and he comes to, he'll be horrified that he could kill somebody.
Back live now here in Orchard Beach. Now, if this person of interest is in fact the suspect, he did not go far. He was found a block away there, and this is a crash site where neighbors say they heard shooting last night. Meanwhile, those schools closed today because of this search. District officials say those schools will be reopened tomorrow. We're reporting live in Anne Arundel County tonight. I'm Paul Gessler for WJZ.
All right, Paul, thank you. Now, both detectives are being treated at shock trauma. One of them seriously hurt in this shooting.
Rachel Carden has more on who these detectives are and the extent of their injuries tonight. Rachel?
Rick, Nicole, of course, so much concern about these officers, about their condition, especially detectives that are so well established in their community. We know at least one of them is in critical but stable condition. The other one is expected to recover. 2 detectives on the job, shot by an armed suspect who got away.
I would say extremely serious. I would say that at least one of the sets of injuries was life-threatening last night. Fantastic care mitigated the potential there.
That detective is in critical but stable condition. The other detective shot is thankfully expected to recover. Anne Arundel County Executive Stuart Pittman has a message for them and their families as they receive treatment.
The 570,000 residents of this county love them, are praying for them, and are pulling for them. Our hearts are with them.
Anne Arundel County Police Chief Timothy Altamari speaks with emotion, passion, anger, and pride as he addresses the media this morning.
I think he knew he was really badly hurt, and he needed his brothers to come back and help him, and he figured out a way to do that despite the challenges that he had put in front of him. I think it's remarkable courage. Doesn't surprise me at all.
Detective Scott Ballard is a 22-year veteran and on the fugitive apprehension team. Detective Ian Parise has 13 years with the force and works with the Homeland Security team and gang unit.
There exists on this planet no better team in any sport, in any endeavor, than the Anne Arundel County Police Department.
The chief thanked the immediate and professional response of the medics on scene last night, as well as the Baltimore City officers working alongside his men. The police chief said he's not at all surprised, but very proud of his detectives for how they handled themselves in this situation. Again, thanking everybody involved last night. We're continuing to stay in contact with the Anne Arundel County Police Department about the condition of these 2 officers, so stay with us. We're live outside of shock trauma. I'm Rachel Carden for WJZ.
Rachel, thank you. And WJZ will continue to keep you updated on the investigation and the officers' conditions. We'll bring you any information as we get it on air and online at WJZ.com. Switching gears now, if you were outside this afternoon, you definitely got soaked. The rain only going to get heavier.
Bad hair day number 2. A live look outside for you right now. It is a mess. It is wet, and it is still mild, though, Bob.
The rain, luckily for us, is much, much later than we expected. In fact, the bulk of the rain is now south of us. We've even trimmed back the flood watch. We'll show you that coming up right now. Heaviest rain over Delaware, the lower eastern shore, pushing to South Jersey, down to Virginia Beach. They had some heavy showers. West of the Baltimore region, very light, isolated rain. South of a region, from Richmond down to Roanoke and Greensboro, North Carolina, there's a batch of moderate rain there. They may pass just southeast of us later tonight. So we still have a chance of more rain, but looks like the heaviest is going to pass south of us, where it's 55 degrees now in Salisbury. We're stuck at 42, 41 in Bel Air, 48 out in Oak, and 43 in Frederick, 46 in D.C. Take a look at the futurecast as far as the rain. We've really trimmed this back from yesterday afternoon. At least the models are only showing about an inch around the Baltimore region, maybe an inch and a half in Annapolis. La Plata could see over 2 inches, and about 1 to 2 over the lower eastern shore. That's where the heaviest rain is going to be occurring. Much, much less rain to the north and west of the region. Meg is looking at that new updated flood watch. Meg?
Yes, I do indeed. Hi there, Bob. So we are live with the WJZ Mobile Weather Lab right along Roland Avenue. And as you can tell, I have ditched my umbrella. So there is a little bit of drizzle here, but for the most part, not dealing with any rain. Let's get a check on current conditions here as far as the temperatures go. So we've been up and down a little bit, 44, then 42 degrees. Right now we are at 43, and yes, feeling like 43 as well. I do want to show you that flood watch because a pretty significant change. So it has been trimmed back. Baltimore, we are no longer a part of this flood watch. It's places to the east and to the south. Really, it's looking like far southern Maryland, and the eastern shore is going to see the heaviest of the rain, and obviously that flood watch really reflects that. So yes, we will see some off and on rain overnight. It certainly will be lighter at times and then a little bit heavier later on. Still talking 1 to 2 possible, really mainly, though, over the eastern shore. Of course, Bob will have more details. I'm meteorologist Meg McNamara, live with the WJZ Mobile Weather Lab, and I will send it inside to the studio.
Well, a missing 2-year-old in Howard County found safe and in good health. Some good news tonight. Police say Ethan Adeyemi disappeared just after 10 last night after following an adult out of the house. Nearly 100 officials spent the night looking for him. And finally, around 8 this morning, a postal worker driving on I-95 found Ethan on the side of the road. He was taken to Johns Hopkins for treatment.
And Johns Hopkins University has identified the victim of a suspicious death. School leaders say 19-year-old Stella Chung was a first-year student. She came to Hopkins from San Diego, California, and she died inside her suite at the college on Saturday. An autopsy is now being done to figure out exactly how she died. School leaders say there are no community health or safety concerns related to her death. And a man is out on bond tonight after being charged with a deadly hit and run in Towson. 34-year-old John Marking Jr. is now charged with negligent manslaughter and other traffic-related offenses after a deadly crash on New Year's Eve. Police say the victim, Thomas Gluick, you may remember this story, was crossing Delaney Valley Road when he was hit by a truck. He died days later. Marking was released on a $20,000 bond. And tonight at 11 o'clock, I'm going to have much more on this story, including an exclusive interview with Gluick's former wife. And we're going to take a deeper look into why there's been so many accidents like this and what needs to be done. That is tonight at 11 o'clock, only on WJZ.
Well, a judge sentenced a 19-year-old to a life sentence in prison. Dylan Augustiniak shot and killed a realtor at a model home in Hanover in December of 2018. Prosecutors say he stalked Stephen Wilson before the murder, then stole his cell phone, laptop, and his keys. Augustiniak admitted to the crime shortly after his arrest. Well, President Trump taking a victory lap today, one day after the Senate voted largely along party lines to acquit him on 2 articles of impeachment.
And Catherine Johnson reports for WJZ from the White House.
This is what the end result is.
President Trump gathered his supporters at the White House for what he said was not a speech, but a celebration.
They took a phone call that was a totally appropriate call. I call it a perfect call, because it was. And they brought me to the final stages of impeachment. It's called total acquittal.
The president solicited praise for his lawyers and congressional Republicans. And he took swipes at the Democrats.
Adam Schiff is a vicious, horrible person. Nancy Pelosi is a horrible person.
He singled out Republican Senator Mitt Romney, who crossed party lines and voted to convict on abuse of power.
The president is guilty of an appalling abuse of public trust.
We had one failed presidential candidate. That's the only half a vote we lost.
The president also took swipes at Romney and House Speaker Pelosi at the Bipartisan National Prayer Breakfast, an event that's usually non-political.
I don't like people who use their faith as justification
for doing what they know is wrong. Nor do I like people who say, I pray for you, when they know that that's not so.
He's talking about things that he knows little about.
Afterwards, the House Speaker hit back.
No matter what he says or whatever headlines he wants to carry around, you're impeached forever.
Pelosi also praised Romney, saying God bless him for his courage. Katherine Johnson, CBS News, the White House.
Okay, so listen to this. A Ravens fan now has club-level seats to every Baltimore Ravens game for the next 2 decades.
This is pretty incredible. Lolita won the Maryland Lottery's Seats for 20 Years prize. Former Ravens player and current coaching analyst Zach Orr made that big announcement. 6 finalists went down to M&T Bank Stadium to find out who won.
She's pumped up, to say the least. They have already won $10,000 each, but only one got the tickets. 20 years. Hopefully Lamar is going to be around for 20 years with the Ravens. It's a pretty good deal.
I was going to say, if they repeat this season next year, she'll have plenty of action to be in
for another 19 years after
we
that.
Hope so. Well, still ahead for you tonight on WJZ News at 5.
We're at the Motor Trend International Auto Show at the Baltimore Convention Center, talking cars, trends, and an overall great time. I'm Sean Stryker. I have that coming up on WJZ.
And the criminal case is over for the attackers, but the victims are not staying quiet. What's next in the sexual assault investigation at Damascus High School?
And a rush to get them home from China. What's happening to the hundreds of Americans now under quarantine for the coronavirus?
And lots of rain coming our way. Don't miss the updated forecasts with Bob Turk.